PowerSlap is failing and I'm not okay with it. I think we need to get rid of it or we need to eliminate it from the UFC and have it be its complete own entity. So, welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm MMA Tizzer and today I'll be talking about PowerSlap and why I think we either need to stop it or, just like I previously said, we need to move it and completely disassociate it from the UFC. And first of all, I noticed this today. I was on my phone. I was looking for Instagram, and then I was scrolling, just through the page. And obviously, I follow the UFC just so I can keep in the know and see what they've posted, which is usually low quality content, to be honest. And all of a sudden, I was barraged by all this power slap stuff. So a power slap thing must have been on. Obviously, no one watches it because who would want to watch power slap? No one cares about it whatsoever. It's absolutely terrible. And then I noticed, if you just catch this picture where the cursor is here, so this picture shows the Power Slap champions. I don't really know how you become a champion because it's only been around for about 3 months or so. So I don't really know how that happens. And so obviously I tapped on that, and the tag, he's been tagged, the guy with the belt. There's actually two of them in the next photo. And then I tapped on him and I thought to myself, I bet no one knows who this guy is. So I clicked on it. And the Power Slap champion has 1.5 thousand followers in Instagram. So their star guy right now, their champion of his weight class, has 1.5 thousand followers in Instagram. I know normal people with a lot more followers than that, you know what I mean? They're not as famous in any way. They just use Instagram a lot and have a lot of followers. So this show clearly isn't doing well. Which brings me on to my next point, which is Dana White is lying about how well PowerSlap is doing, and he's delusional about it. Because I think he spent a lot of money on it, and he doesn't want to admit that it's failing, but it is. So let's have a look at this. So there's 220,000 viewers apparently, according to this Google search here. So 220,000, and it had a bad rating, okay? It's getting like 42% on Rotten Tomatoes, and like review critics are saying stuff like that. We don't really use a rating system in the UK, so I'm not too familiar with it. But what I do know is it got a bad rating, okay? So people, they think the show's bad, okay? It's not interesting. It gets boring quickly. And 220,000, it may sound like a lot, but you've got to realize this is primetime TV. And I'm European, so football's a big sport here. Most football games will have, the big ones, they'll have over 1 million watchers, okay? So at once, they'll have over 1 million. They easily do it. So for Dana White to say that this thing was beating the NBA, it was beating the hockey, the NFL, and all that kind of stuff, it was beating the American football. He is completely lying, okay? I know how big those sports are in America, especially basketball. It's a really big sport. I don't know where he pulled the numbers for, but if you guys see the clip, you'll know what I'm talking about. He claimed that PowerSlap is the most popular sport in the US, and he was like, I have the numbers, but I don't know what numbers he's looking at. They must be really specific cherry-picked numbers. And the theory of why I think Dana's so pushing this PowerSlap agenda so hard is because I think he's invested a lot of money into it. So he's panicking now. He's realised there isn't actually a market for it. And people just found it funny, a year or two ago in COVID to watch people in Russia slap each other and stuff like that. Because it was big in Russia before the US. And now it's completely flopped because, it's not that interesting watching two people slap. And also, there's a few ethical problems you have to consider as well. Because obviously, I know fighting, you can get really injured in fighting, obviously. It's a very risky business. But you're allowed to defend yourself. That's kind of the premise, isn't it? Not get hit the other person, right? So the best man wins supposedly. But in PowerSlap, you're voluntarily letting someone basically attack you and assault you, and most of them get knocked out. Like whoever gets hit first is determined by a coin flip. And honestly, I just don't think that's very humane at all. I don't think it's fair. And what's even more disgusting, to be honest, is the prices these people are getting paid to do it. So I'm pretty sure they get paid. If we go down here, we'll have a look here. So how much does PowerSlap say? And these are right, by the way. These statistics are right. I've checked. So $2,000 to show. So if you show up, you get $2,000 to the slap off or whatever it is, the slap competition. And you get $2,000 to win. So if you show up and win, you'll get $4,000 in total. Honestly, that isn't good. You know, a lot of these guys are kind of, they have daytime jobs and this is just extra cash on the side. So like a lot of them are truckers and stuff. And you can kind of tell that that's kind of maybe the people that watch the show as well. But you know, a lot of these guys are just normal people who have day jobs. They're not trained, you know, pro slappers, and they're not fighters either. And these people are actually getting lifelong damage. You know, a lot of these guys are getting knocked out, or at least even if they win, they're getting slapped a lot on the way to the win. You know, there's multiple rounds. It's whoever gets knocked out first until like, I think there is a round limit, but you know, you're getting brain damage unless you knock out your opponent first time. And even then, you're still hurting them a lot. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, they shouldn't do it. Yeah, but these people are very desperate. And also, I just really don't think there's a market for this. I think it's failing. Dana knows it's failing, but he's in delusion and denial about it, and he can't admit it, which is why they're pushing it so hard, because he's desperate to try and make it popular. And if you look at the comments on the Instagram, they're just hating on it, you know. No one's a fan of Slapfest. People are saying stick to UFC, and I completely agree. You know, this isn't a slap fight Instagram, you know. What is this, you know? Slap fight, slap fight, you know, there's a knockout. There's a knockout, you know, knockout, you know, he's falling down, he's unconscious, you know, he's unconscious, you know, this guy's just won 4 grand. Meanwhile, UFC fighters are getting like 15k to show and win. So, and then there's finally some UFC promotion, so you think it's over, but no, then they're still announcing who got the performance bonus. I mean, I'm glad they at least include a performance bonus, you know, shows some signs that they actually might be getting a little more than $2,000. But yeah, this show just, I mean, there's them training, but yeah, I just really don't think slap fight is gonna work. I think if it is gonna work, it has a very niche market of people who want to watch it. And the best thing to do is to stop them losing UFC fans through promoting this on the accounts. You know, they're promoting YouTube as well, Twitter, Instagram. They need to make it a separate entity. They need to disassociate it with the UFC. Maybe, you know, put an advert in on the main card of the UFC, just say, oh, slap fights next weekend or whatever. But they can't be doing this. It's just not good. It's kind of, no one wants to see this and no one cares about it, to be honest, except a very small amount of people. But yeah, that's my fight. That's my thoughts on slap fight. PowerSlap, sorry. And obviously, I just thought I needed to say this, especially after seeing these Instagram posts. The champion with 1,500 Instagram followers, which I find very crazy indeed. So it just shows you how many people do not care about PowerSlap, to be honest. And honestly, I never think they will. I don't think this sport will ever be anything. And I reckon if you give this sport 2 years, I don't think it will exist anymore. I think PowerSlap will be a thing of the past, and Dana White will just brush it over and just kind of ignore all questions about it and just say, can we stick to the fights? So yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. That's my little rant about PowerSlap. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment on what you think about PowerSlap. You know, you might have a different opinion to me. Subscribe if you're new here so you don't miss any of the future content. We've got lots of stuff planned. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.